Cody Rhodes became WWE Undisputed Universal Champion last night. And I just wanted to get my little reaction on it. I'm waking up right now, so that's why I'm a mess. I just wanted to talk about the last two main events because they were intriguing. They were very intriguing. I'll just start by talking about night one's main event. First night main event should have been Bayley versus Io Sky. Happened to be Seth Rollins and Cody versus The Rock and Roman Reigns to choose the stipulation for the next night's main event. It was a super, super, super great tag team match, if I'm going to be honest. It was way better than The Rock versus Cena, all those years ago. They found his character. The Rock as a power wrestler in the modern era it makes sense. It's hard to make those kind of wrestlers make sense, but with The Rock, it just does. Rock looks like he was on some roids or something, dude. His chest was sticking 5 inches beyond where it should have been. The whole match, it was just full of fun moves, and it was just all fun. My issue with Seth Rollins at times and Cody, they really had a slow pace in this match a little bit more than you would have expected for a normal tag match. Seth ended up not being in the match, I feel like, for a good chunk of it, which kind of spoiled it because it was where's Seth in this whole thing? But I mean, it was a pretty solid one, and The Rock pinning Cody was super great because you just wouldn't have expected it. And now they're setting it up so it could be Rock versus Cody maybe sometime. And there's a chance that The Rock could beat him, so there's that what if factor next time they do face. It was a great match. You guys should watch it. I loved the fact that The Rock was the board of directors, so he basically had a lot of the say in how the match goes with the ref. He said a few F-bombs. He also did that the next night, which I was very surprised about. I don't know why he does that, because it's literally a PG product. I bet he thinks that it's cool to do it because he's a heel, but it just doesn't work when you're saying it so frequently. He's pushing the product to be TV-14 at this point. Following that night 2, Cody versus Roman, Bloodline Rules, I was very, very disappointed. I kept telling my friends, this is going to be the Avengers of WrestleMania matches. This is going to be the best WrestleMania match. And in a way, it kind of was like the Avengers, with the fact that several different wrestlers made cameos to help Cody out. I'm not sure if I'm going to get into it. You may as well watch it just because, I want you guys to watch it to get your opinion on it, or you can watch another video from someone else. But there were several cameos, and Jimmy came out, and Solo Sikoa, of course, and The Rock came out, and these cameo wrestlers ended up helping them, legacy wrestlers. And I'm not complaining about that because that makes it an Avengers type match, in my opinion, because of all the star power that they try to push. But the second night, Cody versus Roman, it was just very clunky. Pulled a bunch of moves, and I think they were trying to make it seem like Cody and Roman are so tough that when they hit each other it does a lot of damage, because they did a lot of power kind of moves. There was not that much actual fighting sequences or anything. It was very slow paced, and a lot of it was just them taking turns seesawing back and forth on who's gonna win. There wasn't any one count kickouts later on you would expect a crazy match like this to go. And they didn't go the extra sequence that you would have expected Roman to kick out of. Because Cody kicks out of Solo Sikoa and Roman's move, yet Roman can't kick out of 3 Crossroads, which is, in my opinion, a little unfair. I feel like they've done better with Roman in the past in his matches, and I feel like he's had stronger endurance in past matches. So I don't understand why he's weaker than normal. Paul Heyman could have done something about it, honestly. Could have integrated himself into the match somehow. And my main issue of the second night's main event was just the fact it was very slow-paced, and there wasn't as much action as you would have expected. And there was a lot of periods where wrestlers would get injured, and then they literally would just disappear for a good chunk of time, or just in the very beginning of the match they had a slow pace because they were just both acting oh my goodness, I'm so out of it. And I understand that's the first night because they put all their effort in the first night's main event, but they could have just done something better with the second nights, if I'm going to be honest. So basically, between the first and second night, the first night was the more stellar, solid main event, and it had a super great setup for what is to come for the second main event. However, Bailey and Io Sky should have main evented the first night. And the second night's main event was too clunky, with many wrestlers oftentimes disappearing for long durations when they shouldn't have. So, between the two, the first night main event gets a solid 8 out of 10. I don't normally rate matches, but if I had to come up with an excuse for why I gave it an 8 out of 10, it is because it was a super great setup, and also because it showed a lot of what each wrestler has to bring to the table. The second night's main event, 6 out of 10. I may be grading it super low, however, it did not go as long as I would have expected. I would have expected maybe a 60-minute Iron Man match without them telling us, or something. But we ended up getting another clunky Roman Reigns match that kind of reflects some of his later main event like matches. So 6 out of 10, 8 out of 10. Let's go. Let's get it. And another thing is the fact that Cody should have been whipped with the belt. I thought that was the point of the Bloodline Rules match, was Rock was gonna show Cody a beaten mess in front of his parents, and then he was going to redeem himself and then win the match. That's what I thought would have been a greater ending. And I kept telling people this is going to be an Avengers level WrestleMania match that we've never seen. However, it was not as much of an Avengers match as I thought it would have been. I thought these wrestlers were going to all put in effort into basically making an extended match with multiple different wrestlers integrating themselves in throughout the whole match. I thought that would have been a greater main event. But yeah, we didn't get that. It's okay. It's the Triple H era. He'll probably do something cool with Cody, but I was just disappointed in the second night's main event.